Hey Brandon, it's your buddy Josh.
What do you want?
So I saw that nasty comment you left me on my last video about using my camera as a boat anchor.
Well, it works.
Well, so that being said, I want to borrow your camera. Can I test it as a boat anchor?
I mean, it's weather sealed, but yeah, you know what? Yeah, sure.
Here's the way it's going to go down. I'm going to give this guy, Brandon, overall cool dude, does cool stuff, my Nikon 600 f4 and 200 to 400 f4 with the Nikon D850. He's going to give me the Canon R5. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to give you my thoughts. And remember, this is not a review. This is just a dude checking out the Canon R5 to see what he thinks. And that's about the extent of it. Okay, so I'm not taking it easy on Canon. I came to one of the most difficult places right off the bat. I'm starting with small birds, and they move fast. So let's see how good you are, Canon. Let's see how good you are. We're not going to ducks. We're not going to go to a park. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I just didn't feel like driving there today. Too long of a drive. It's Sunday. Let's try some small birds. Okay, so let me tell you about the setup. Canon R5, Sigma 150 to 600, so I'm not shooting with a native lens. Of course, the autofocus is going to be faster with the native stuff, but this should be pretty good. I've already gone into the menu. I set up all the animal eye focus, all that good stuff. Pretty intuitive, I've got to admit. I've never used a Canon before. Within 10 seconds, I had it figured out. I had to spin a couple extra buttons, but didn't mind it at all. Still that left hand on off thing. Oh God, come on Canon. Come on. I mean, that's easy. That's no brainer. You gotta fix that. All right, so I've only gotten a couple of shots so far, and I'm gonna tell you, God, I hate even admitting this. How did it know where I was looking? I mean, yeah, put it in frame. The bird's there, it grabs it. I didn't have to move any focus points. Once it grabbed the bird, it grabbed it big, then it started micro, like grabbing the eye. I mean, what kind of Harry Potter stuff is going on inside there to do that? I don't get it. So first impressions, menu's easy, autofocus, yeah, all right, it's awesome, okay? It grabs it, goes straight to the eye. Pretty cool the way it does it too. Small bird, hovers around the bird kind of turns its face, boom, goes right to the eye. What kind of weird science is that? I don't know. But I do need to get into the details and make sure I customize it the way that I like it. So Brandon, when you get it back, it may have that my little fine touches in there. So reviewing something that you're not used to is becomes very subjective, right? Like anything in life, you get in a routine, you get you just kind of get lulled into the things that make you comfortable. And one of the things that I feel very comforting when it comes to Nikon ergonomics is the fact that I put my fingers on just a couple of buttons here and I'm rotating and it's all just right there, right? And understandably, different platforms, they have different ways of making things work. And I've been at it for about an hour and a half here, and I'm telling you, I'm struggling. I am struggling. I've missed shots, which is why certainly I would need a lot of time with this thing. So I'm gonna shoot a little more around here today. I'll show you a few images, but understand that I'm not getting the best out of this thing because just ergonomically, I'm not making things happen as quick as I typically do with that Nikon. And since we're on the subject of different, one thing I don't like about any mirrorless at all, doesn't matter who you are, Nikon, Sony, I've looked through all of them, I can't stand electronic viewfinders. Now let me give you a caveat, okay? I was a birder since I was 20 years old, still love birds, I chase them around all over the place, but I love spotting something through the glass. Like when you pull some nice, you know, expensive binoculars to your eyes and you see that the colors of that bird just pop. Nikon, and I don't know how Canon was and all the old ones are with looking through just the glass, but man, when you look through good glass and a good optical viewfinder, it's special. I mean, it feels like you're right there and you're connected. I'm looking at a little TV screen, things look pixelated, and I know, you know, it's some of the best and it's better than it used to be, but it reminds me of when I got our first point and shoot camera, that Nikon B500 or 600 or whatever it was, and I would try to look through that viewfinder of that and it just looked like I was looking at a little TV. Does it have its benefits? Yes, I can turn some dials and I can see how it affects the exposure and all of that. But through the years, of the last 8 years, I've gotten used to reading that meter at the bottom of the screen in the Nikon. I can see whether I'm over or underexposed, and sometimes if I want to be underexposed, I can watch the dial. It's just going to take a lot for me to get used to an electronic viewfinder. Hey, overall great session. I would love to see what a native lens does for autofocus. So what I'm gonna do, he gave me a 70 to 200. I'm gonna go put it on and we're gonna do some landscape photography. Not exactly expecting to get great wildlife photography out here with that 70 to 200. It's just not great for birds, but such a beautiful landscape. Gonna do our best and see what kind of images we get with a little wider lens. Okay, look, right off the bat, native 70 to 200, 2.8. Whoo, so much faster. So, man, I wish I had some native glass for wildlife, but smoking impressed. I mean, I focused on small stuff. I mean, just the close focus is incredibly good. You know, it's just amazing how quick it grabs focus. All right, I've got to get some images with the Nikon because this scenery is just, it's incredible. I just noticed something. The Nikon electronic viewfinder is much closer to an actual optical viewfinder. Look, not even by a little bit, it's way better than the R5. And that's not just preference, guys. That is, you look through two of them. This Nikon's better. I'm just gonna say it. It's the electronic viewfinder's better. Well guys, for the last portion of the test, I came to a park where the ducks and geese they're plentiful, right? I need some low-hanging fruit. I didn't want to do a camera test and go sit in a blind for 5 hours and hope for something that may or may not even be there. So we're gonna try out some video, some eye tracking. These guys, they're easy to photograph. So we're gonna do that and see what we can get, and I'll give you my feedback. With video, I'm just pointing it at it. It automatically picks it up. It goes straight to tracking the eye, and it stays on it. So +1 Canon for autofocus for video, and I think that is the big takeaway thus far, is that video is where these new mirrorless cameras shine. You know, as far as stills are concerned, yeah, there's some pluses, but man, really nailing and tracking the focus. And I don't see focus breathing, which you know, when it's sticky like that, it just stays on it. Stays on it the entire time. Not a lot of in and out with the camera. Big +1 there, Canon. So one thing you may notice about anything that I review is I don't give you specs. There are a lot of YouTube channels out there that can read you a spec sheet. If you're in the mood to read, the spec sheets are posted online. The specs all bring you back to a feeling, right? Does the camera almost disappear in your hands? Is it intuitive? Is it comfortable to shoot with? The Canon R5 is undoubtedly a fine piece of machinery. I can't really point to one thing that I don't like, right? I mean, it's built right. It feels good in the hands. The buttons, after 2 days now of using it, it's become quite intuitive. I did have to make a call to Brandon to figure out a couple of controls. But the fact is this, it's pretty dang awesome. So let's talk about the absolute high points. Video autofocus. You know, when people talk about this eye tracking and the capabilities of these mirrorless systems and their autofocus, I think video is where it really stands out, where it takes the next step. Did I feel blown away when it came to photographing small birds and even, you know, the geese in flight with the regular autofocus system for just taking pictures? I wouldn't say that it was worth switching systems and moving on. But as soon as I flip that video switch and I watch the way it tracks, it is head and shoulders right now above anything I've seen from Nikon. Now there's some new firmware updates for the Z6 II and the Z7 II. Supposedly it's better, and I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna give it a fair shot. But if Nikon's paying attention right now, they're looking at this platform and its video capabilities, and they're making changes to at least keep up with what Canon's doing. Now let's talk about image quality. I downloaded some images last night. You know, so much goes into image quality. Number one, you know, the 3 things is the right subject, the right background, and the right lighting. I felt like I had a lot of that last night. The one element though that I didn't have is that nice 600mm f4. I was shooting with a Sigma 150-600. It's a good lens, but you know, I've discussed this in the past. Equipment matters, and those $13,000 lenses are expensive for a reason. They just give you that something else. I didn't see that in the image quality. I wasn't blown away by anything. I didn't see some incredible resolution that I didn't see in the D850 or any of the Nikons or Sonys for that fact. So stills and image quality, it's a wash. So the question is this, you know, is it worth switching platforms? Is it worth looking at something like a Canon? Well, honestly, the more I'm doing video, the more I start thinking about platforms like this. But I gotta give Nikon a chance, right? I mean, I have all this glass that goes with Nikon to sell it, to be able to change. It would take a lot. And honestly, right now, I haven't tested the Z7 II. They may be a lot closer than the Z6 is to the R5. So in fairness, I'm gonna give that a shot. I'm gonna see what comes of that. And that'll be for another video. So here's my recommendation. If you're buying a new camera and you've got the budget to buy an R5, you cannot go wrong. There's nothing about this that I can complain about and say that I mean, it is great at everything. But that's the way a camera like this should be. Great camera though, thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you, Brandon, for letting me take it. I was very careful with it the whole time. It's been a wonderful experience, and I can't say one bad thing about R5. So thanks, Canon.